female, have been married for about 3 years. We only have one child together, and I was pregnant with our second. I'm Western Canadian while he is from Germany. We lived in Canada for a long time, but because of inflation, moving back to Germany seemed like a better option for us. We bought a nice house in Hanover where Peter is from. The day after our flights to Germany, we all visited Peter's family. This was the second time I have seen them. The first was at our wedding. They greeted us and brought us inside of the house, fussing over my son. We had dinner, and soon we left the house, wanting to settle into our new home. Oh God, did you catch them talking shit about you? Is that what happened? Oh my God. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is juicy. We visited Peter's family often over the next few months, but I had started to realize that they would speak about me in German. I knew it. I knew it. They would make so rude comments on my hair and makeup. Questioning my fashion choices, and overall they were just very unkind to me. Oh bestie, absolutely not. They also said mean things about my pregnant belly, which I was already insecure about. Man, like, they can be mad about the fact that you knew they could speak German, but also you just caught them being to you, okay? They're mad because you caught them. I said I hated how my every choice was judged. He told me he would talk to his family. The next time we went to his parents' house, there were no more mean comments. For about 3 months, it was like nothing ever happened. I gave birth to a perfect baby girl that we named Lilith. Peter's family was very upset when they heard the name. I was gonna say Lilith is an interesting choice. If you didn't know, Lilith means If you didn't know, Lilith. Why do I have a lisp today, guys? If you didn't know, Lilith means ghosts or of the night. We didn't pick this name because of its meaning, but because it's a name every girl in my family has had for many years. My middle name is Lilith, along with my mom's, my grandma's, and even my great-grandma's. For a while, I didn't visit my in-laws. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. I'm just gonna say it with a lisp now, from now on. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. And for those of you who are like, you're making fun of people with lisps, Charlotte, I have a lisp, okay? I wear a retainer. I take it out when I'm filming, but I have a lisp. What, you think I got these pearly whites naturally? No, bestie. Naturally, I look like a vampire. I am Dracula! Yesterday, we saw them again. It was our mother-in-law's birthday. As soon as we showed up, things started to go badly. Everyone wanted to hold Lilith, which made my mother-in-law upset because people weren't paying attention to her and made me overwhelmed. I didn't want people to hold her. I was going through a pretty bad postpartum depression, and it was still pretty early to see people. I let people look at her, but decline when anyone asked to hold her. During dinner, I heard sister-in-law talking to my mother-in-law in German. I heard her complaining about how she couldn't hold my baby. My sister-in-law even had the audacity to call me, and I quote, a fat, ugly, hokey addict. I turned to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and told them off in German. Nice. Nine! I basically said that I've always known what they have said about me, but calling me names was the last straw. I also mentioned how I have known German for almost my whole life. The table instantly blew up. People were yelling at me because apparently this was all my fault. Ooh, the gaslighting! The gaslighting! You reap what you sow, bitch. I mean, listen, it was just your husband's family that didn't know, okay, right? I'm hoping we get a little more context, to be honest. It's one thing if you didn't tell your husband that you could speak German, but it's another thing to not tell his family. I feel like if you're not really close with them, and also you're going to be living in Germany, you're going to pick some things up too, right? They're just being stupid. People were yelling at me, so apparently this was all my fault. I left with Peter and we haven't talked to them since. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Are never wrong. I detect some sarcasm. They remain a-holes by refusing to ever take ownership of their words or actions, and so they never have to change. They can be as judgmental and insulting as they want because they're right, and anyone who challenges them must be at fault. So of course it's your fault that they were insulting you. They couldn't possibly have been in the wrong. Sorry you married into a family of no, seriously, like the gaslighting for me, the playing the victim and the pointing the finger instead of just like, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have said those things. Like, that's literally all it takes. My God. Nobody thinks they're the villain, all right? Everybody thinks that they're in the right. But sometimes we f up, and listen, that's what makes us human, all right? Just admit it. You were a bitch. And now you're twice the bitch because you won't admit that you were a bitch. That's very good insight, though. You can always spot an a-hole by the fact that they never admit when they're wrong. I honestly wish that you hadn't told them. I wish that you just didn't tell them that you could speak German because, like, my goodness, the tea you would have heard. You're living in Germany. Do they really think you wouldn't learn the language of the country where you live? Literally, like, even if you hadn't told them up until that point that you speak German, you've been there for months. You know, if you're really, really diligent, I feel like it takes like 6 months to learn a language. You know what I mean? Like, if you really care about it and you're living there, right? It's one thing to be traveling, but you're you're living there. So you would learn German. And they were still talking badly about you in front of your face and calling you names? Absolutely not. They have been extremely rude to you and about you. You are definitely not the a-hole. I think your husband needed to show a shiny spine as soon as they started and should have told them off instantly. That's what I really don't like through all of this. I agree. Yes, he talked to them. However, in the moment, hearing them talk badly about you should have been like a trigger for him. Like, he should have gotten really upset. You shouldn't have had to tell him to talk to them, okay? I feel like your husband doesn't really have your back in this moment. I know it's hard because it's his family, etc., but still. It is decided. You are not the a-hole, my dear.